I'm Jonathan Worsley here at FHS Saudi, and I'm delighted to be on this podcast with Serena Lim, who's head of growth for the Ascott Limited.
That's right.
Serena, delighted to have you with us.
Lovely to be here. Thank you for the invitation to be here.
And Serena, tell us, this is FHS Saudi. What's it been like for you?
It has been a great experience. We know that Saudi is evolving so quickly. There's so many developments. It's rapidly changing. And so just to be here in this conference, meeting a whole range of people, whether it's from, the investors or the designers and the brands, always good to touch base and to really feel the vibe and to understand what is happening. And so great to be here. It's to come to one place, FHS, and to have a whole variety of people and have really good conversations to help us also think as to, on our strategy, what do we need to do better so that, we can continue to be part of that Vision 2030 journey in Saudi.
It's a great vision and it's an exciting place, isn't it? Probably the most exciting country in the world at the moment in terms of opportunities for the hospitality industry.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that particularly interesting because the guests of today in Saudi, the guests of tomorrow, and the future guests of Saudi are so different. And so it really sits upon us, in the tourism industry, in the hospitality industry, to ensure that what we do really future-proofs the assets for the owners. So coming here, meeting people, understanding the pulse is really important for us. And so, we take this, expansion into Saudi extremely seriously. And, we also want to be able to value create for the owners and for, the industry here.
Because you're an Asian powerhouse, so there's great synergy between the Middle East also and Asia. How are you applying? What are the brands that you're really focused on, particularly here in Saudi?
So currently we have 3 brands which are already operating. So we have the Ascott, the Somerset, and Citadines. We are both in.
And you're operating here.
We're operating already here in Saudi. And we are going to bring 2 brands in. So we just signed a Crest Collection property in Riyadh. And we also want to bring Life into Saudi as well. So we find that Saudi is really interesting because the whole diversity of travelers into Saudi is quite remarkable. You have your corporates as usual, your leisure, you have your religious travelers as well, but you also have your project managers, you have your relocation, you have, big Saudi families, you have solo travelers. So it's really interesting. So we also want to be able to bring in brands which are quite distinctive and also able to cater to specific market niches so that, again, we remain relevant and we value create in Saudi. So 3 existing brands now and launching 2 more into market pretty soon.
And so how is it that you're different to some of the global brands, and what's your selling point?
Yes.
Unique selling point.
Yeah. So we call ourselves a accommodation provider. And we are a total accommodation solution provider for that matter, because of the various products that we offer and the various accommodation offerings that we offer. So we're quite different in the sense that we're not just a hotel operator, but more than that. And this gives us flexibility for us to provide solutions to our customers, which is critical. So regardless of their purpose of stay, regardless of their length of stay, they will find a place to stay with us at Ascott. And with regards to the owner as well, for those who are wanting to look at diversifying beyond a typical hotel asset, we are also able to bring that lens of all the other commercial offerings with our multi-typology brand strategy so that we can offer diversified revenue streams to our owners, because we know that in Saudi, there are seasonality patterns. We know that in some markets it's still emerging. We know that there's also a lot of development which is happening, in various markets in Saudi. And so the question is, how can we bring in that differentiated value creation? And that is through our flex hybrid model, whereby we can balance between short stay and long stay, and be able to pivot so that we are able to provide, diversified cash streams to the owner. And also our brands being multi-typology, also being able to go into the various, diversified markets that Saudi represents.
So like service apartments, branded residences,
So
you must see opportunity in those spaces.
Exactly. So we see opportunities in service apartments and also hotel and service apartments. So having a service apartments to be able to provide that base business, but at the same time having hotels that can serve as a transient accommodation offering so that we can yield as well. So we find that if you take a look at the next phase of development for all the projects here in Saudi, the hotel and service apartment sort of coexistence is a very natural one. And I feel that we feel very strongly that that fits into very nicely into the next realm of the second phase of development of projects in Saudi.
Yeah, very good. And in terms of your growth plans, it's an asset light strategy, isn't it?
That's right. So we are looking at, both management and franchise contracts. In fact, that, around 85% of, all the projects that were signed up is actually also asset light. But, obviously with asset light comes a bit of discipline as well. And, it's about having very strong brands, as well as, focusing on owner returns. And these two need to coexist, very, very well. And, when it comes to strong brands, it's about, being able to be very clear in the swim lanes and also then able to give the empowerment to the local teams to be able to localize it so that we remain relevant in the community that we're serving. So we're very, very clear about that. We also have what we call a market-driven strategy for all our brands so that we don't say, do this because the brand says so, but we will say, all right, these are the facilities we need because this is the segment that we're targeting. These are the guests, that we are targeting, and therefore we need these facilities. So more of a market, driven, and that then encapsulates the strength of the brand. And strong brands means, power in pricing, power in loyalty, and power in, operational consistency. And then the next one is about owner returns. All right. And the same thing as well, market driven, so that we build what we need. And we also build, a phased approach so that the, sort of like CapEx, the initial output is within control, which is very important. And the other thing that we also do very well with regards to design is that it's being able to build and design adaptable spaces, so that as your
like your live brand,
like the live brand, so that as the market needs, sort of evolve, we are also able to, at the same time, be able to meet, these requirements, and not have the owner, do any structural changes, right? So we are also very careful in the way we plan adaptable spaces,
right,
and using that so that, what we call future proofing the asset, which is critical.
To me, that seems like a bit of a disruptor brand as well. Did you concur?
Which one? The live?
Brand.
The live brand is a disruptor brand, but it's an interesting one because we find that the whole desire for community, the whole desire about social, engagement and social programming is real. Now, in the case of Saudi, how we localize it, it's going to be different, right? We have to obviously maintain the social norms here. And so how we look at, localizing that is a different story. But the whole idea about social programming is really critical. So life is an interesting one because it is high energy and it's also about, community driven. So what we do is that, with all of lives, we bring the best of the location and the community into life. And that becomes really interesting. And, a lot of people say, okay, lifestyle must be really expensive to build. My retort to that is, do you think life? Think context, not capex, because it's about programming. So it's not about, building more. It's about programming better, right? And so that programming side of things is really, really critical so that it remains fresh and it suits the evolving trends of the customer. So life is interesting. And we also strongly feel that in line with the 2030 vision regards to, youth, empowerment, and innovation, creativity, local culture, that fits very well because we are bringing the community into life. Yeah. And I feel that it's a sector that this country needs. So we're very excited to be able to sign more deals and to launch a brand here in the kingdom.
And so when are you launching that brand here?
So we're hoping to make some announcements pretty soon because the interest has been fantastic. our track record for our brand, globally has been really, really strong. And so now's the time for us to really focus on this market and get the brand going.
Well, Serena, it's great to have you here at FHS. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for sharing your thoughts and also participating on the panel recently. But look forward to seeing you. I'm going to be in Bangkok for the Branded Residence Forum.
Yes.
And I hope to see you there.
Wonderful.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.